Hello everybody, thanks for tuning in. Today I felt like I was just going to go over my thoughts for the Sonic movie sequel, which I managed to see last weekend. It's been a little bit since then and I've thought about my opinions some more, and I think now I'm ready to share them. So this is going to be an unscripted video, just casual conversation and discussion of ideas, and let's get on with it. I first want to talk about its standing compared to the first film. And I think I can quite confidently say that the second film is a lot more engaging than the first film, especially if you're already someone who knows a lot about Sonic. You'll probably automatically enjoy the second film more because it's got more Sonic in it. But even if you're just a casual viewer who's not really into the games at all, I would still say the second movie is better, even if you haven't even seen the first film. It gets to the point a lot sooner, and it uses its characters in a lot more interesting scenarios, which of course is partly due to the fact that the first film set quite a bit of that up. However, even then it still just got on with what you wanted to happen a lot sooner than the first film did. That said, there was some parts of the second movie that felt more like the first, but we'll get to those. Overall, I would say it's a lot better than the first film for watching. I'm going to be avoiding any major story spoilers for this video, and I'll save my conversation points that do involve story details for a separate video, so you shouldn't worry about any big spoilers in this one. However, I will say that if you want to go in completely blind, you shouldn't be watching a video like this in the first place, so I'll leave the decision up to you. If you do want to just leave now and watch it blind, thanks for coming along anyway. Otherwise, let's get into this. One of the main characters people will be interested about, naturally, would be Sonic himself. And I would say that overall, throughout this film, he was pretty decent. The film version of Sonic goes for a more Fortnite kid personality, is the best way I can put it.
Oh, that's hot. That's hot.
Which is not my sort of thing, but as far as those types of characters go, I would say Sonic was handled fairly well. He wasn't too annoying, he had good voice acting, he was animated well, and he had some nice moments on top of that. So overall, I would say he was decent. It's just not my sort of character. He's gotten a lot more used to being accepted by the public and being able to run around more openly and hanging out with people, which was nice to see from the first film to this film. And he's been given a bit more freedom from Maddie and Tom, who are the two humans he lives with. But at the start of the film, we learn that he's gained a fixation on being some sort of a superhero, more in line with Marvel films of that sort. And it's pretty blatant, they don't try to hide it, that's what he talks about, and it's sort of the way this film sets him up across the runtime. Now, Marvel obviously is very successful, and it has a formula that works, but so many places have been copying Marvel, on top of Marvel themselves, that it does get a little bit old for me. I know that most people don't care and they enjoy it, so you will probably be fine with Sonic being a blue justice and trying to save people and all that stuff. But for me, it was okay. Again, I've seen it a lot, but it was doable. The film really does try to build him up for the hero's journey about responsibility. Feels kind of Spider-Man in that way. And for that reason, it's not really anything I haven't seen elsewhere. It's serviceable, but quite predictable for Sonic. Tails only had a very minor appearance in the first film, but we get a lot more of him here, and he joins quite early in the first third as well, so you won't be waiting too long to see him. It was very nice to have the voice actress from the games reprise her role here, and she does an excellent job with Tails. Gets a lot of emotional elements across. Now, he has a pretty short arc, and can feel a little bit hand-fisted in the way that's handled, but it doesn't detract from anything. It's quite clear that they really just wanted to get Tails in and integrated so that he could start being a part of the team, and they didn't really want to spend a whole film getting used to Tails. But that said, he's still fine. It's just the introduction and reasoning can be a bit hand wavy, but once he's there, it's fine. It's good. Now, he's also pretty clearly a tech-focused character. He has a bunch of gadgets, and he even calls himself a tech guy as well. So it's a little bit like the more recent games or Sonic Boom. However, they do let him get involved in the action, and whilst he might be a bit hesitant to do so, he does commit to it when he has to, which was nice to see. So it's not as bad as Sonic Forces, where he's begging for help with Chaos Zero. It's nothing like that. I think in terms of handling Tails as a tech sort of person, this film struck a nice balance, and overall Tails' presence is quite welcome. He adds a bit for Sonic to play off of, and he's got some nice moments of his own. So yeah, Tails was a nice addition. Knuckles was a big part of the marketing push for this film, and yeah, it's very good he was in this movie. Knuckles is great. Idris Elba delivered a really great rendition of Knuckles' voice. It's pretty different from any of the voices he's had before, but not in a negative way. The film sort of takes Knuckles into more of the tribal side of the echidnas that you only hear little bits about in the games, which is not only an interesting take, but it's quite tasteful as a way of having Knuckles not understand things for the sake of comedy, but without making him an utter clown like the more recent games did. So it's a nice way of Knuckles still being serious and still having lots of merit, but yes, he's a little bit inexperienced with the ways the world he's found himself operate, so it can lead to some surface level stupid things, but it's explained. It's good. It's very nice to see Knuckles not be treated as just a strong idiot, and Knuckles is very strong in this film. They do not hold back on his abilities. He gets a lot done, and he's clearly quite capable. Knuckles, excellent. The voice casting of Idris Elba, really good to see. He's a great character, and one of my favourites in the entire movie, for sure. Robotnik is fantastic. Jim Carrey has really elevated his performance for Robotnik on top of what he already had in the first film. He comes off as a little bit silly, slightly crazy, very weird and quirky, and yet at the same time maintains a threat level and a menace to him. He's capable, and you know that regardless of how he portrays himself externally, he's incredibly intelligent, which is a really nice rhythm for the character. Arguably either himself or Knuckles I would label as the best character in the film, and the best part is, for a decent amount of it, they're in the same scenes. So you get two of the best characters interacting right next to each other. It's really great when the two of them share the scene, but even on their own, they're good. Robotnik definitely gets a lot done in this film. He's in it for more than the first film, thankfully. Definitely a good choice. And yeah, I've got nothing bad to say. He gets a lot of cool moments in this film, and it was great to have him again. There was still quite a lot of scenes focused on the rest of the extended cast. Well, not just the extended cast, I mean mostly the human cast that aren't Robotnik. Maddie and Tom, oddly, felt like that out of all of the human screen time, they didn't get as much as you would have expected. Obviously, when you go to sit down and see a Sonic film, you want to see the Sonic characters, so the other newer human characters are always going to be a harder sell. But Tom and Maddie got quite a bit of focus in the first film, and naturally you'd think they would build them up more here just to carry that through. And they do get a few scenes. It's not like they're absent for the whole film, but a lot of the Sonic isn't around moments doesn't really focus on them when it's action based. They're just sort of around, and that felt like a missed opportunity to build them up more. Agent Stone, Robotnik's henchman, had a fair few funny moments actually. I didn't really care about him either way in the first film. This film, I feel like he got to come out on his own a bit and make his own unique identity. Obviously, since at the start, Robotnik isn't around, so he has to, and it worked. He definitely earned his presence in the movie, I would say. Where the film spends a lot of its human-focused plot is in a wedding arc, which, yeah, it does support a couple of other plot points in a minor way, but it just feels like it could have been reduced in its length or even cut completely. It's focused on Maddie's sister, so it's her wedding, and it's got a bunch of characters we probably won't see again. It goes on for a while with a couple running gags and some reveals here and there, but in terms of what actually happens in the story, it has such a minor impact that you could have just made a different scene to deliver those few points, which would take up less time and give other parts of the film more time. For example, Knuckles. I would have loved to have just more Knuckles in general, or more Robotnik scenes in general, or even give Maddie and Tom some more action-based scenes. You know, there's plenty of other things I wish we could have seen more of, and the wedding arc was not one of them. I feel like that could have been definitely cut back, if not completely removed. On that note, there are a lot of different events that take place in this film, and in some ways that's a really good thing, because one of my criticisms of the first film is it felt like the Sonic and Tom chilling out and exploring went a bit too long, and the action only really happened near the end, so it only really felt Sonic-y in the very last couple minutes. Here, you don't need to worry about that. You definitely get a lot more of that Sonic energy, as well as just information and intrigue. It's paced way better here, and there's more of it. However, despite that, the downside of having so much is that some of the things don't get enough attention as you would like, which the wedding section just feels even more unjustified in its length when you see some of the things that were skipped over, well, briefly covered to fit into the film's runtime. Overall though, Sonic Movie 2, as I said before, I think it's definitely better than the first film. For me, the first film was probably a 5 out of 10, and I don't mean that in the modern way where a 7 is bad. I mean, you go from 1 to 10 and 5's in the middle. So the first film was a 5 out of 10 for me, but this one I would say was a 7 out of 10. Definitely a better viewing experience, and I would recommend it whether you've seen the first one or not, if you are a fan of the movie Sonic, or if you are a really big fan of Sonic in general and are interested to see a new interpretation. It will be good for a casual viewing with family. So yeah, 7 out of 10. I would say fair game, go watch it. So those were my thoughts on the Sonic movie sequel. Would I go rushing to see it if I hadn't already? Probably not. It's worth just waiting until it's a comfortable time, or even for the home release if you're that patient. But it is a decent time nonetheless. I will be putting my thoughts and opinions based on spoilers and predictions for the future film in a different video, so that might come out in a couple days, who knows. But thanks for watching this one all the way to the end, and I hope you had a great day. Please share your opinions below, especially if you've seen the film. Just be mindful that some people may not, so put a spoiler warning first. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Hope to see you next time. This is the Mighty Emperor, signing off.